Hello, Georgetown. Happy Wednesday. I am back after a week away. Did you miss me?
I didn't even know you were gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all right, too. We're here with some updates for you. One of the first things that we want to mention is that included in the email where you are receiving this link will be some other additional links to some additional videos. And maybe the first one we want to speak about is the update from Mike Smith.
Mike Smith and Sherry Klein put together a video this past week, and it will be attached to the email here. You are welcome to watch it. Some of you have corresponded with Sherry Klein. Some of you have perhaps talked to her on the phone. It was important to us to bring her visually into the picture so that you could see her. She's very self-conscious about this video. She hates it. So if you want to give her an affirmation email to encourage her, we think she did a great job with the video. Back to you, Eric.
So an additional video that is going to be in this email is a link to a video about Guatemala and the Feeding Guatemala initiative. I had a Zoom call with Josh Campbell. He's a friend and a servant in Guatemala. And so the quality is because it's a Zoom call, but I've subtitled it. So I encourage you to take a look at it. And basically the premise is Josh and a couple of his colleagues down there are putting together an effort to buy, organize, and distribute food to the people in Guatemala. There are restrictions down there. There's trouble getting people enough food. They're going to do the distributions much like we do distributions when we go on our summer serve trip. And so the arrangements are similar. We encourage you to donate money. $7 is a nice bundle of food. The food is just kind of staple foods. So if you would consider giving in $7 increments to this opportunity, we would really appreciate that. So check out that video. You'll see kind of how they go about it, how people signal that they need some food with the flags, with like a white flag. And Josh is going to be putting those together for us. So those donations can be mailed to church here or connect with Sherry, who we just talked about, and she'll get us set up to collect the money.
And you can mark your check, Georgetown CRC, Feeding Guatemala. This will be a 2-week initiative beginning today. Again, $7 increments is the intended design for this. And we'll let you know how many responses we've received. That's a great segue to saying thank you for your huge responsiveness to Room at the Inn. That initiative ended this past Friday. Sherry informs me last night that we had 160 rooms bought, or 160 nights bought for area families. We have people in this congregation who have people in their family who are homeless. So here's a ministry that not only touches the people who are direct recipients of that, but it's easy to get excited and galvanized around an initiative like this if you know someone who is in those kinds of straits and has that kind of need. So I don't know what to say other than thank you very much for your immense responsiveness to that initiative that we put out in front of you, this need in the community. And as always, Georgetown responds immensely to a real concrete need. So we want to thank you.
So one of the other opportunities that's coming up in the way of helping and feeding is the Love Inc. Food truck. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What are the details on that?
The details of the Love Inc. food truck is the food truck is there, or it's actually a trailer, and tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. you can stop in and you can drop off applesauce, canned goods, soup, chili, canned tuna, chicken, pasta, cereal, mac and cheese, pasta sauce, mashed potatoes, powdered drink mix, and coffee. And there will be volunteers here who will unload your trunk or your vehicle for you. We're going to maintain contact precautions, but from 5 to 7 tonight, this is an opportunity to drop off food parcels that can help area families in need. Love in the Name of Christ is one of our partners. We do work with them every week out of our Micah's house here. We're grateful for those volunteers who continue to prepare meals or boxes of food for families. And this is yet another opportunity to reach people in our community who have concrete needs.
Speaking of feeding, I believe we have another round of Feeding America opportunities coming up as well. Is that right?
Next week, Tuesday, is our next Feeding America opportunity. Juliana always welcomes an email or has a sign-up genius where you can indicate your willingness to help. The last couple of times we've had great volunteer turnout. There will be protection available for you as well as for those who are receiving. We are going to once again do this drive-through style. We have seen in the numbers that this is immensely appreciated.
You know, another significant change with the COVID situation is that with graduates and graduations. We're not able to do the things that we normally do, a recognition in church, and kind of the normal open houses are going to be changed or limited or eliminated, but we're still looking for ways to honor and support our graduates. Sarah has sent out an information request sheet. If you are associated with a graduate, I encourage you to please fill out that information, get it back to us, and that'll help us make additional connections. We're exploring different ways in which we can honor and encourage our graduates this year.
We also want you to know that our classes, the group of area churches, is going to have a virtual meeting in the middle of June. And one of the things that we are talking about is how churches are managing this time, how we are handling the time of quarantine. We also recognize the need to look beyond the quarantine and what will church life look like once we resume. We know that there's no end in sight in this until there's more testing or there's a vaccine. And so when and if churches are able to reconvene before more testing and a vaccine, we are going to have to exercise precautions and safe distancing. And just know area churches are going to be talking about that together and looking at best practices, because as the body of Christ, the larger body of Christ, we want to take seriously health concerns as well as good practices and learn from each other. And so those conversations are going to be taking place soon. Please also know that some of this classis has taken a lead in the denomination in terms of starting some of those conversations and looking at precautionary measures. So once again, I am proud of our church. I am proud of our local classes and the ways in which we pioneer issues and challenges and opportunities, and we look to and with one another with how to address those rather than trying to solve those on our own.
You know, this situation can cause us to feel isolated and alone sometimes, but it's important to remember and think about all the ways in which we can collaborate and work together, because it's true, we all are under the same circumstances. And the ways that we can love and support each other, I think, are super important.
And you and I have talked about our own challenges in our own homes, whether that's snacking too much or being worn with one another. I was telling Eric I try and wear black because it's thinning for these presentations. But we all know that whether we're at home or stuck at home or working from home, that we are feeling cooped up, but we know too that an end line or a finish line for all of this happens when we practice safe distancing, when we acknowledge that this is a pain and this is difficult and it's unprecedented, but we do this mindful of other people. I said to one of my colleagues this morning he said, wherever I go, I'm surprised at how many people aren't wearing masks in a grocery store. And he said, for us Americans, it's hard to think about someone else. And I said to him, to me, it's like wearing a name tag. Whenever we wear a name tag, we are not wearing it for ourselves, we are wearing it for someone else. We're not going to get to the bottom of this until we can continue to look at everyone else, until we can look out for them, until we can care for the very least and the weak in our society. And COVID-19 has shown us, inside the congregation and out, that it is not discriminating. It's not just young and old, it's middle-aged, and the people who have had it do not wish it on anyone.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in and checking out this video. Thank you for remaining connected to Georgetown, and we hope that you have a terrific rest of your week.
Peace of Christ to you.